So let's get started. So there's two things that I think are crucial when you're drawing to make dynamic poses and things like that, and it's movement or angles. Can I add movement to the picture? So, you know, someone's hair's blowing, the coat's blowing, the scarf's blowing, the wind, something like that. If I can't add the movement, I can add angles. So let's just go through a few of those examples. The way I think about it is if there was a wind machine next to him, what would be, you know, blowing? So if I were to draw him, this is a really quick sketch of him. So if I were to draw him, most people would just be like, okay, you know, draw that, draw the jumper. I think it's got a blazer on, to do that, and then just draw like that. What I like to do is add a little flair. So if the wind machine was, you know, there's a wind machine here, these jumper arm things would kind of be a bit like this. You know, they're a bit caught up in the breeze. So that's all I would do. And then even if you did do the most boring pose, you know, if he was literally just standing there, it's still more dynamic because you've got something there. And that's literally all I had to think about, is what happens on a windy day. So same with this lady, just draw her quick. As you can see, the blazer that she's wearing, it wouldn't really, a windy day would not be affecting that. So let's just draw that as standard as I can. So what I would do is the skirt, I would be like, as a little bit of just a little bit, like not crazy, like it's not Marilyn Monroe moment, but like just a little bit. And then you add the bag in. You know, and she can just be standing there, but it's still a bit more of a dynamic image because there's a bit of curve to it and things. And then this lady here, very quick drawing. Okay, so as you see, it's not much. So the two sort of tassely bits that are on the coat, I would just go to town with and be like, you know, just make it really dynamic. And then, you know, whatever you do with the pose, it just, yeah, just makes everything a little bit more interesting. And that's what I do, and that kind of works with hair. What does it work with? It works with hair, earrings, scarves, fringe on bags, like literally anything. Yeah, so that's kind of the first thing I would do. So that covers movement. And then the second thing is angles. So if someone has a form-fitting outfit, it's just really boring if you then draw like a form-fitting outfit, you know, and then you draw that, right? It's just boring. So what you want to think about is angles, and that can be shoulders, even shoulders. Like if you think of, I always see these in fashion illustration books, like these lines, but I've never really understood them. But then, so if you have that one coming that way, that one coming that way, and that one coming that way, I think when you piece them together, because that's the shoulders, that's the hips, and then you have the knees that are different lengths, you can kind of piece it together to a bit more of an interesting pose. So that's one way of adding angles, is in the actual body positioning and things like that. So if you then filled this in, it can take, you know, relatively boring outfit or whatever into something a little bit more interesting, because there's some angles being played around with and stuff. That drawing's awful. I always look at this and think, do I want to teach you guys something, or do I want to kind of draw something really good and boost my own ego? Because I'm like, half of these drawings are absolute shite, but I just want to get the point across. But then when they're watching back, I'm like, oh my God, do people watch this and think, can he even draw? But I just think the information's more important than me drawing a pretty picture. So another one with this is, so that's angles in a body, but another way you can add some angles, literally angles anywhere. And this goes for live event illustration. The same with the movement. This goes for live event illustration and any illustration. You want to think about movement and you want to think about angles, because it just makes things more dynamic. So say she's here. Okay, so that's a quick little face. So say she's there. Angles I can add in are putting a hand on the hip. You know, that way, even if you did everything straightforward, it's still a bit exciting, but you can also add a little curve in the body, which is an angle. What I always like doing the leg thing, but it's sort of that, I don't know, I reuse it all the bloody time. If you're gonna do an angle this side, balance it out doing the other angle that side, otherwise it just looks strange. Well, it can work sometimes, to be honest, but it just, yeah, it just looks a bit odd. So I'd always balance it out. So yeah, there's just ways of adding angles. So you can, you know, do the hand on the hip. You can just put a little right angle, not a right angle, that would be impossible. 45-degree angle on the leg. And you can do this anyway. You can add in, like, you know, you can put the angle of the arm upwards. You know, you can put the leg really high up as if they're like jumping. And the angles work with walking as well. So if you're doing a walking pose, if you actually look at how people walk, they'll kind of walk like this, you know, which isn't very dynamic. So what you want to do is you also want to exaggerate it and add more angles in. So you want to push the body, you want to get a bit more angles in the legs, you know, maybe even put an angle in the arm, that kind of thing. So we're going to go into exaggerating from the photo in a second, but it's just about angles. So you've got this angle, that's not an angle, but you've got this angle, you've got this angle. It's just, yeah, just about adding, that's angles, but it's just about adding angles and movement in. Ideally, what you want to do is put them together.